What's good, y'all? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to create a simple vintage graphic and use that graphic to design a couple tees using my supply pack and Procreate. So be sure to follow along and let's jump right into it. First things first, what we want to do is start out with a canvas of 6,000 pixels by 6,000 pixels. And now that we have our canvas set, let's go to Google. And I just typed in football helmet vector and I found this image here as a little star on the helmet. What we want to do is just go ahead and save this to our photos and go back to Procreate. And now we can just insert a photo from our photo gallery, and I'm going to pull in that helmet and I'm going to fit it to our canvas. And as we see here, the detail and the image quality is not very good, just based off us grabbing it off of Google. Let's do a quick trick to enhance that. What I want to do is duplicate this layer and then go to our transparency options, and I'm going to find the option called hard mix. And as we see here, that really punches the detail up a lot, creates a much cleaner, simpler line. Now what we want to do is go ahead and merge these two together. Now if we turn off our background, we see that we're still on this helmet and the helmet still has a background on it, and we want to get rid of that background. Let's go to our selection up here, and we're going to tap one time outside of our helmet. And as we see here, everything outside of the helmet turned black. And what we want to do is just go ahead and pull that right off of our screen. And I'm also going to take away some of this white inside of this helmet area as well. Anywhere that's not the actual helmet itself, just want to get rid of that. And we should be left with something like this. If we turn our background back on, I'm going to change it to gray really quick and kind of see what we're working with. And there's a little spot here that kind of got knocked out. I just want to connect this line here. I'm just going to draw a little connector point so that we can add back in white color really quick. Now what I want to do is just select the color white, and I'm just going to color over the star. That's not what we're going to be using for this. We're going to be pulling in our own logos, our own graphics, anything that you feel represents your brand. But for this, I'm just going to be going with my Phoenix logo, and I'm just going to paste that down, and I'm going to adjust this to size. And then I'm also going to distort it because we see the helmet is kind of on an angle a little bit. This is just kind of like an eyeball kind of thing, kind of see what you think looks best for your personal design. Now what we could do is go ahead and combine these two, and we can call this our helmet group. Now that we have our helmet group, what we want to do is go ahead and add in text. I'm going to add a new layer and then go to add text from our actions menu. And I'm going to find the style called varsity. It's just one that I found off of Google. And in all caps, I'm just going to create a kind of fake football team really quick. We're going to go with Florida. And then now I'm going to edit it. And now editing this text, what I want to do is just make sure that the spacing in between all these letters is even. I'm just going to go through and do that. And that's going to be with our kerning. I don't want any of the letters touching, but I do want them pretty close to each other. We can go through individually and adjust the kerning on each of these letters. I think that looks pretty nice. So now what I want to do here is go ahead and duplicate this, and I'm just going to hide this top Florida for now. And actually I'm going to lock it down so we can keep an eye on that. But we have this one here, right about here. Now once we have this kind of layout, what I want to do is start distorting this font. We can kind of have it warp and wrap around our helmet so it looks a little bit more seamless as a design. In order to do that, let's go to our distort tool here, and I'm just going to drag straight down, making this font really tall. And I think like that looks pretty good. I might make this a little bit smaller and just kind of eyeballing this to see what'll look best. Now that we have this, what I want to do is put this Florida underneath our helmet layer. As we see, because our helmet still has that white to it, it's now blocking out our Florida. And from here, I just want to start at the top here and just kind of start dragging up our font. It look like that. So we're getting a nice kind of curve on our font now, and that's looking pretty cool. I'm just going to pull up a little bit more just to kind of even things out. I'm going to leave that there. Now what we can do is revisit that original Florida that we had locked down, and we're going to unlock that now. And the reason why we copied and pasted it is because we're going to take it, and since this is my Phoenix logo, I'm just going to rename this Phoenix, and our mock team for this project is just going to be the Florida Phoenix. And again, going through adjusting the kerning between these letters. And we see here why the kerning is important, because when we start spacing and distorting our words, we want to make sure that they're still readable. But now on this bottom layer, we want to adjust this to size. Now I'm going to distort it the exact same, about the same height. And it might be a little hard to see, but I'm just overlaying the two fonts, just trying to get the sizing right. And now I can pull that down, maybe make it a little bit smaller. And on our Phoenix layer here, I'm going to make sure this is below our helmet layers. I'm going to do those same steps, but kind of in reverse. I'm going to pull down instead of up, and then just kind of warping these letters. I'm going to do that, make sure everything is lined up still. And I'm going to make my helmet a little bit smaller from here as well, probably like right there. And now this is what we're working with. Now we have our Florida, we have our helmet and our Phoenix. And I want to do one more extra step just to make our helmet kind of pop off these words a little bit more. And I'm just going to create a new layer. Now that I have a hard round brush selected to white, we're on our new layer. I'm just going to go around our helmet and just kind of outline it so there's a clear separation between our words and our helmet. And just kind of carve out this same kind of shape that the helmet is creating. And we're just going to copy those same steps onto the bottom. This is with the outline and this is now without. Now, once we're here with it, what we can do is go ahead and group everything together. And I'm just going to pull all this to the middle of the screen. We can call this our black. And now what I want to do is duplicate this, and we're gonna hide this black layer. Now we're gonna flatten the second group. Finally, this is where we start to have fun and get to adding color on our design. But before we can do that, what I wanna do is hide this background color. And as we see here, that outline we created, we just wanna get rid of that now. And I'm going to go to selection and automatic. And I'm gonna tap right on that outline that we created earlier, all around, and it should pretty much select it. And now what we wanna do is just pull that straight off of our screen, kind of zoom in here. It creates that edge that we kind of outlined ourselves. And now we see that that outline is permanent and it kind of carries with us through no matter what color we choose to do for our background. But first, let's go ahead and start adding in color here. Now I'm just gonna find a nice orange color and start dragging that right to our letters. I'm just gonna do that all the way around. After we have that, I'm gonna find a nice red color. Everything that's black, I wanna go ahead and start applying this red color that we just selected. Let's go ahead and do that now. And the same thing on the bottom as well. And after we have all of that, and now after we have all of our letters set, I wanna go to our helmet now and start adding the color to this. Now what I want to do is just go to our outline here. And again, everything that's black, we just wanna make sure that's red. We're just gonna start color dropping any of these black areas and applying that red color again. Making sure I get these small little places as well. After that's all red, now I want to go to this face mask part and we're going to fill this in with orange now. We're just going to color drop that. Again, being careful, making sure we're staying inside the mask and not doing anything on our background or anywhere else we don't want the color to be. And that's looking good. Now we want to go ahead and start adding treatment to this Phoenix logo here. Let's go ahead and add in a red outline on this. And I'm going to make sure that our Phoenix is filled. So I'm just going to go through and color drop all around this now. Now that we have our graphic completed here, what I want to do is go ahead and add this to a mockup. Let's jump right into that. Here we are on a new canvas, and this canvas is 4,000 pixels by 4,000 pixels, so we can work on our mockup. And now what I want to do is go ahead and locate our t-shirt mockup, and that's just going to be at the top of Quatro's tops brushes, the standard T front. And I'm just going to tap down one time and adjust this to size. I already have our drawing guide set up. I'm just going to align that to the center of our screen. And then now what I want to do is duplicate this, and let's call this top one outline, and let's lock our outline down. After we lock our outline, let's add a new layer, and this is going to be the base for our t-shirt. And I want to do a nice kind of warm off-white color like that. And I'm going to put this below our mockups. And now with this mockup layer and our color, let's go ahead and merge these. And after we merge those, let's call this our base. And now on this base, what we want to do is get rid of this background. Let's just tap our selection tool, and on our automatic selection, we're going to tap outside of our mockup and just drag that right off of our screen. And now from here, we have the base of our mockup set, and we want to go back to our design that we just created, turn off our background color, and this is what we should be left with. There's one little spot of white here that I do want to get rid of before we take this to our mockup. Let's just get rid of that now. And this is how it's looking. What I want to do is just go to our actions, and we're going to make sure we copy our canvas. After we do that, let's go back to our mockup here. We're going to paste that, and it comes in like that. And we're going to rename this our design layer. And on our design, let's just adjust this to size, make this a lot smaller, and try to make sure we keep it centered as well. And I think that's looking pretty nice. With the design, what I want to do is go to our transparency options, and I'm just going to set this to multiply so it blends into our t-shirt a little bit better. So while I'm here on our design layer, let's add a mask to this, and let's select the color black. And I'm going to go to Quatro's brushes, and I'm going to find the rough wash brush and just kind of start going over our design here. And it's fine to be a little heavy with it at first, because since we have our mask set up, we can push and pull and kind of add it back in. This is just a preference thing. I'm going pretty heavy at first. Now let's set our color to white, and still on our rough wash brush and our mask, I'm just gonna go back through and start erasing in these areas. Kind of leaves that same effect of like a vintage wash tee, and I think that looks really nice. Now what I wanna do is go through and start adding in some details, and just making sure this is selected to clipping mask and drawing assist. Now we're gonna add in our shadows. I'm just gonna use our acid wash one brush from Quatro's brushes, or any soft brush, and just start adding in these shadows. Let me turn the opacity down as well, maybe to about 25, and then just start adding in shadows on the bottom here. And now I can go through and erase some of that, and I think that looks really nice. Since this gives off like the athletic vibe, these designs usually come in a variety of colorways. Let's kind of mock that up really quick and see what that looks like. What I want to do is just group all of our layers together, and I'm going to call this our main, and I'm going to duplicate this now, and I'm going to hide our main layer. And now what we can do is go back up here, and we can start changing the base color. If we wanted to go with a red color, we can see what that looks like. And let's take our design off of multiply now. We can look at it on a screen mode or maybe lighten. That looks pretty cool. If we wanted to try that orange color, that's interesting. But what I had in mind is a darker color, maybe like a black. And I think that looks really nice for our alternate colorway. I think that has a nice bit of contrast compared to our white tee. Now what I want to do is see these two designs side by side. Let's go ahead and duplicate this alternate layer, and we're just going to flatten that, and then we're going to hide it. And let's go back to our base, and let's duplicate this one, and we're going to flatten this one as well. I'm going to rename this white, and we can rename this black. Now I'm going to take this white tee and move it up here, and we're going to look at our black tee now and make sure that it's lined up the same size, and we can put this one right about here. And now let's get these two together in a group, and we're just going to combine down, and we can call these just our mockups. And then I'm going to adjust these to size. And yeah, this is our original, that off-white kind of color, and here's our alternate version with the faded gray. And I think that looks really nice. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. The supply pack and other products of mine are available now on my website at quatrosupply.com. So if you're interested, be sure to check those out. There's also a lot we didn't get to go over today, which is fine. Just be sure to leave a comment below of what you want to see next, and I got y'all with that. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.